I'll start with something non-controversial.
No, I'm fine with controversial. That's not usually my problem. Yeah.
It's well known around these parts that in 2007 you did an interview where you said that although you've used many Linux distributions, you had never used Debian because you found it difficult to install.
Yes.
Have you tried it since?
No. That was quick. I'm sure it's gotten much easier to install. To me, a distribution is, I'm sorry, you may want to close your ears now. A distribution is not very interesting. I want it to be easy to install so that I can just get on with my life, right? Which is mostly the kernel. The closest I got to installing Debian was there was one machine, I forget which one it was. It may have been the MacBook Air that actually had trouble installing something. And Debian, the installer would boot, but then it didn't install there either. And eventually I figured out what was the problem with that machine, but by then it was too late.
If there's a way to break installing an operating system, I've found it multiple times, and if there isn't one you already know of, I found it. And Debian, last time, super easy. Highly recommended trying.
Maybe I should try. I mean, one of the problems I have is I am not an MIS person. I mean, I may do kernels, and people think that that means that I'm technical. But when it comes to actually maintaining machines, I am a complete disaster, right? I change my own machines regularly, so changing the system I run on my machine would be easy, right? I end up upgrading machines a couple of times a year usually, but I end up having also to maintain my family's machines. And that ends up being the one that I don't upgrade my family's machines very often, and I don't want to run multiple different distributions across different machines because I suck at MIS. So it ends up being, for me, a distribution is something very sticky. Once I started with one thing, I have a really hard time just doing something else because that means I have to switch over all my kids' machines, my wife's machine, and that's just painful. So that's why.